G'day all, welcome back to the G-Man Show. A bit of a different one today. I came across this video by Four Corners and it's about sovereign citizen movement. Very interesting, something that's actually grown a lot since we had all the lockdowns and over the very much recent years. Let's see ABC's slant on it. I'll give you my take on it. And the original video is in the video description for those of you who want to watch the whole thing and don't want me to skip parts and jump around, because that's what I will be doing today, because it is a bit of a longer video. So let's jump in.
An offensive from the fringes has been launched against mainstream society.
This is your opportunity to leave. If you don't do that, we'll be arrested.
Hector got all that.
How do you feel then when you get labelled as a domestic terrorist?
It's just what we call the spin. It's like the sovereign citizen. It's out there to try and discredit us.
It's a quasi-civil war. And the front lines are courts, councils and...
I mean, you can see this is an ABC program. Absolutely, it's going to be discrediting all of these people's way of life, I guess. It's exactly what it's doing.
Cops.
Thank you, you may be seated.
The new armies are self-appointed law enforcement groups.
The defendants, in this case, former Prime Minister Scott Morrison, on the charge of human trafficking.
Guilty.
Okay. So what's the punishment? And where's Scotty? Scotty isn't there, so I don't know why they're having their own sort of court proceedings. It's like role playing to an extent.
And so these sovereign citizens, like, what are they saying?
Some people call these groups sovereign citizens.
Are you a sovereign citizen?
I am a sovereign citizen, and everyone is a sovereign citizen.
Many try to distance themselves from the label.
Is this the peak body representing the sovereign citizen movement?
Nah, there is no peak body, and there is no sovereign citizen movement.
The one thing I don't understand about people who go on these programs, like Insight and Four Corners and anything ABC or SBS or anything mainstream media for that matter, there's always an agenda. There's always a story that's being pushed, whether it's implicit or explicit. I don't know why they sign up to it, because, if you get someone who's going to be into the sovereign citizen movement for varying degrees, you're going to be made fun of. So I don't see why you'd go on this show, because even the comment section of this video is full of people bagging them out. So I'm pretty in the centre on all this sort of. I can see why it's happening. I can see why a huge portion of the nation, it's more people than what you would probably think, just don't trust the government, and you really can't. You can't blame them. I think about what's happened in Australia, particularly Victoria and Melbourne, more specifically, with the lockdowns, the COVID lockdowns. And that is just stuff you would not have expected to ever be able to comprehend in your mind as something that'll be a possibility. Being locked down, forced in the house, let outside for an hour, for weeks and months on end, for several times, forced to take medicine, even though they said it wasn't forced. You got jobs laying people off, full abuse of power systems there. People can say, no, it wasn't. It was. You were forcing people to do something and took autonomy away from them that they didn't want to do. Some people, okay, if you were happy to go and do that, that's fine. If you weren't happy to do it, fine. But it was to the point where they were saying, no, there's no coercion. You need to do your part for the community, blah, blah, blah. And if you don't, well, more or less, you're going to be ostracized and you're going to lose your job. Or you're going to have your job. They put it on businesses to do it, to put pressure on the people to do it, getting registers of people who have done it or who haven't done it, putting pressure on, you need to get your booster, you need to do this, you need to do that, otherwise you can't come to the office, we need to protect each other, blah, blah, blah. So I can see why people are going, you know what? Something smells here. And I said, I'm not a sovereign citizen, but I can see why people go that way, because it's challenge the notion, the very reality that we're all living in. what is possible and what is not possible. Do I think that all the stuff around the legal stuff they talk about and the documents trying to extract themselves from, I guess, being covered under our laws here and all of that, do I think that's... What do I think about that? I don't know. I can't see how that's ever going to stack up, but they're trying hard to do it, and you're going to see more of that here in this show.
They call themselves, these groups are united in a belief that the government is illegitimate. They operate in an alternate reality where people have ultimate authority over the state. They believe a new age is coming.
So look at this, look at that. I just want to say something there, right? So the committee people were there, number one. I think they downplayed that. They had that, I think it was in Canberra a couple of years ago, and they were saying there were only a few thousand people there. To my understanding, I know people who went, there were hundreds of thousands of people there. But look at that, they've got SWAT teams, they've got dogs and all that sort of stuff there. Where's all that when you got the Palestine protests and all this stuff going on? LGBT protests and all that. Very heavy-handed. Think about when you had the builders who didn't want to take the jab, and they did a protest. The builders / tradespeople, tradies here in Melbourne, and they had SWAT teams like shooting them with rubber bullets, locking people up, and all this sort of stuff. They like snuffed it right out, something out of a movie. Couldn't protest then.
Post-COVID, the sovereign citizen movement is not fringe anymore. Governments are underestimating the reach and threats of these movements.
These groups take us inside their movement for the first time. We ask them what they want and what they're prepared to do to get it.
So they're making them out that everybody is violent. Yes, obviously they're going to bring up that story. They had 3 people, can't remember their names. It was a year or 2 ago. They're living in a rural property, and there's like a shootout and all of that, and some police were unfortunately caught up in that. And then those people are also ended as well. But now that's the representation of anybody who questions how the world is operating, that you're a complete nutter, and they call them cookers.
Are angry and are willing to choose which laws to obey or not, do start making death threats. This is really violent. We have to be really careful about this. This is not a laughing matter.
Just wave to a cop. Here he comes.
I just need your driver's license. You're the driver.
I'm not driving. Driving is a techno term for in-commerce. Please provide evidence I'm doing business.
You might recognise these scenes.
But I'm not under your laws.
As a driver,
I do not have to.
As I've observed you driving,
are you conspiring to commit murder? You can't force rape me.
During COVID, a group of people...
I mean, these ones don't help themselves.
...started broadcasting their clashes with police.
Travelling in my private property.
No, you can call it whatever you like, but I'm telling you, you're driving a motor vehicle in Victoria.
It's easy. Oh, whoa.
He's under arrest.
Please state your name and address.
The common law does not require...
Please state your name and address or I'll place you under arrest.
Let me put it to you that acts only apply to persons, to fictitious people. I'm a living man. Do you agree that I'm a living man?
I'm a living man.
Don't have consent. If you break my window, open it up. If you break my window, no, you are trespassing against my property, sir.
But what starts as a bold declaration of freedom...
I find that interesting, right? I was going to say it's there's one thing questioning and challenging what's going on, then there's another thing and doing that under the express expectation that if you say those things, that the police are going to go, oh, okay, you said that, I'm going to go away now. I find that a bit interesting. Yeah, I'm saying all these things. I'm a living man traveling in my private property car. I'm not driving the car, whatever it is that they say. And the police go, oh, yeah, you know what? No worries. You said the secret code. We'll leave you on your way because you know how to get out of it.
freedom from the law can quickly turn to financial ruin or imprisonment.
You're on my property, mate. I'm asking you.
I'm on your property because we are impounding your vehicle.
I want to meet the man in this video.
You're breaking the law, fellas. I know the law.
One-time law student John Quaremba lives on a houseboat docked on Hindmarsh Island.
One-time law student. What does that mean? That was a one-time.
So it's pretty basic, anybody?
Playing Call of Duty.
How long have you been out here? On
2 years. 2 years now on the boat. That's just good. A coffee was all right, coffee. We'll make a beautiful coffee for you, mate.
From his boat, John is waging what he calls lawfare against the system. He has thousands of followers.
I think what I see, and I said to you, it's like a quasi-civil war. Damn, it's like a paper war. You know, sugar?
When COVID border closures kept him from visiting his mother, John began questioning the government.
Exactly right. Exactly what I was talking about. This is why it's happened. Overreach. And we had the ring of steel. People not being able to go to the hospitals to visit family members who are dying and say goodbye. All that sort of thing, to the point where most people, they felt like all their rights as humans have been taken away, their freedoms, and so then they turn to this. Because they go the other way. You would think that before, say, the last 5 years, I never even heard of this. Never even heard of really sovereign citizen type stuff. This all started happening in the mainstream and getting out there. They had the ring of steel and the police pulling people over because they're checking if you're more than a few kilometres from your home and all that sort of thing. So I can see why people go this way.
My mum was, she was getting cancer treatment. She was in stage 4. So when we weren't able to see her, that was profound, because it was the first time that I thought, wait a second, I thought we were one country, like a federated country, and they closed the borders. And we were like, and so that then really started making me question the law. And I did always want to sort of study. And at that time...
but you also really you wanted to see your mum, right?
I really wanted to see mum, yeah. So I went over. I broke the law, that they said there was at the time. And that was pretty tough. This is the thing that, I didn't get vaccinated. I didn't wear a mask. I was ostracised in my community. I had pretty strong beliefs about what was going on. We haven't had any accountability, and the people are still angry. Under the surface, still bubbling. That anger is still bubbling.
I'll say a lot of people have forgotten about it. Because that's one observation that I'll make, with all of that. And I saw that with in my network of people. And I think most people could probably empathise with it as well, or relate to it. If you questioned anything openly, to say your friendship group or your family, people would look at you like you had two heads. I'm not saying I'm a cook or anything like that, but if you just say, hey, why do I need to stay 5 kilometres from my house? Like, the virus doesn't go more than 5 kilometres, or why can I be out for 1 hour a day? Why not 2? All that sort of stuff. And they're closing down playgrounds. Kids can't play on the playgrounds. They had them cordoned off with like tape. So what world are we living in? They had there was a story, I think it was in Sydney, and it was on the news. It was like a big deal. There were some kids and they were drinking some beers. I say kids, I don't know, teenagers, whatever, drinking some beers on the rocks, and they had a helicopter hovering over them with the spotlights. I was like, what is going on here? Like, how is that a good use of resources? What, they're spreading the disease around because they're down on the rocks at the beach? Or you hear stories, some guy got picked up and fined because he went to the Indian restaurant, which was more than 5 kilometres from his house, and got a Big Mac as well. Some other guy got a Big Mac. There'd be a story each day. Some guy got pulled up because he decided he wanted to have some Chinese food and he didn't want to go to his local. He drove 10 kilometres instead. And it's on the news. Like, okay.
Anger over COVID restrictions reached a crescendo in 2022 during the convoy to Canberra.
Stand your ground, hold your line in light, in love and peace, and lawfully.
It would become the largest protest ever held on the steps of Parliament.
It's a bit of a sticky situation.
Didn't see that at the Palestine protests. The people with the ISIS flags being chased and tackled to the ground. I was actively able to stay there and do that. That's fine.
John took on a leadership role.
Because I'm not going to be intimidated by you.
I can still hear the excitement in your voice.
Oh, but it was because I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I didn't know. I thought I was just going there to be a protester, like everybody else. Just say enough's enough. But then what happened when I got there, really quickly within sort of 48 hours, I found myself like right at the tip of the spear.
Unit, forward, forward.
The protesters were kicked out, and one of the organisers was arrested when police found his loaded sawn-off rifle. The convoy was over, but a new movement was born.
See that? You got the SWAT teams and all that sort of stuff and ransacking everything, and didn't see much violence happening here. Didn't see any violence.
For a lot of people...
All right, let's skip it up. Let's skip it up a little bit. All right, let's move it on to... All right, some courtroom action. As I said, guys, go and check out the original. I'm just sort of skipping through, giving you my comments and my thoughts on it. As I said, I'm not a sovereign citizen person. I wouldn't call myself a cook. I do question things, though. Question why things are happening. Have some critical thinking skills. I mean, I think a lot of that has been taken away, or people don't talk about it.
Adherents are real and rising.
You are now charged, you are under arrest. You are trading in necromancy. You are in treason. You are in treason.
This man, Derek Ballard...
They're not helping themselves. But I think it is too. A lot of people get scared. They were scared that those things happened in this world, and reality was turned on its head, and the reality for them and turned out to be a lie. And it was like an awakening moment, and so then they gravitate towards people who will come across as people who are enlightening the masses. Some of them may be out of trying to push their own belief and agenda as well. Like saying you're dealing in necromancy, which that is like black magic stuff, and they start going there and talking about all that.
Has a history of intimidating courts. He sells advice to people in expensive online classes, claiming great success in getting people off charges.
Can I get someone to count how many sheriffs are here, because they will all be putting our affidavit to the federal police? I've got one sheriff's badge number. Can we have every sheriff's badge? 8 sheriffs.
Judges, including David Heilpern, have been the target of death threats.
Yes, threats against me, threats against lawyers, threats against police. There was a person who regularly appeared before me in a court charged with a whole range of offences, and he had been mounting sovereign citizen arguments, which I had been dismissing and convicting him. And then he bailed himself up in a house, indicated that he was going to kill anyone who came for him, and kill the judicial officers, not just me, but others who'd been involved in his case. That means increased protection at your homes. Your family have to be alerted. There's increased security measures in the courts. Those things take a toll on you as a judicial officer and as a person, as a parent.
These kinds of threats have the capacity to become violent.
They're saying that their laws and their rules and their orders override the legitimate ones. And that is a step towards what we've seen, which is violence.
The US has seen a cascade of violent incidents involving sovereign citizens, like the shooting of 2 police officers during a traffic stop in Arkansas in 2010.
So pick out the most extreme examples, and then that's what everyone is. Good old ABC. As I said, guys, I'm not for or against any of this. I'm against people doing bad things and hurting other people and all that sort of stuff. I'm not against critical thinking, though. I think it does, if you go a bit too far with it. I think some of these people do, in my opinion. Who knows what's really going on in this world? As I said, reality for a lot of people was shattered over the last few years, that's for sure.
The heavily armed assault on a courthouse in Georgia in 2014. And just last year, 5 shootouts with police, including at 2 traffic stops.
Hey, Patrick. This is the last chance to come out, Patrick. You've got a felony warrant for your arrest, a bunch of other warrants. Oh, there you go.
I've been tracking sovereign citizens' interactions with police and also
All right, so they're going to the States for the extreme examples because they don't have a lot here. They're going to drop the one in Australia. I don't want to talk about that. Let's go to the court, people with their common law court.
For the first time, they've agreed to speak to the mainstream media.
It's full time for some of us, all day, every day, 7 days a week, fielding lots of phone calls, lots of emails, queries from all over Australia, all over the world now as well.
This is from the Federal Court of Australia. They're breaking their own rules. So that's why people are coming to us, because they want remedy.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This common law court is now in session.
They held their first common law court case in 2022. On trial were the people who imposed the mandates during COVID.
Has the jury reached a verdict on all charges?
Yes.
Their jury finds the then Prime Minister Scott Morrison and all the state premiers guilty of multiple crimes.
All right, but what's the outcome here? As I said, I wasn't trying to make fun of it earlier. It's like cosplaying as court. So what happens after this?
On the charge of violation of the Nuremberg Code, how does the jury find the defendants?
Guilty.
On the charge of genocide?
Guilty.
On the charge of human trafficking?
Guilty. On the charges of human trafficking. After a really good lengthy discussion, the jury have agreed that with all the defendants on the charges of fraud, the remedy will start off with a minimum of 30 years for each defendant.
Okay, how do we impose this?
Duly noted. The people have decided. And that is it.
That's it.
I'm keen to ask the adjudicator, Alan, about the court cases.
When the common law sheriffs sentence someone like the Prime Minister, is that just symbolic? Is it just for attention, or are you serious? Are you seriously sentencing them?
Well, they've come before a jury, and it is serious, yes. Yes, they've committed crimes. if you look at the recent COVID, one of our first major cases that we had was in a common law court with a full jury. And we heard the evidence as set out. There's no judges or magistrates in there. There's just an adjudicator and the witnesses. Yes, when they're found guilty, they are found guilty of a charge, and they could get a jail sentence or a fine. But once again, we can't impose that at this stage because the police won't recognise our court orders. The only tools we have is psychological.
And you don't have jails.
Sorry? And jails. Well, jails is another thing. I'm not going to, I don't think we can lock them up in our back garden somewhere. So, but, on these people, it's a psychological message to them.
I think it's, as I said, what I've noticed is a lot of the people who fall into this lifestyle generally are in that boomer age range. And I think there's probably two reasons. A lot of time on your hands, a lot of time to consume the information, a lot of different platforms, Telegram, YouTube and Rumble and all this stuff, websites and mailing lists and all of that. So you got a lot of time, you got a free time, you're not working, you can watch and consume all this stuff. Number two is I'll probably find that boomers are probably the most plugged in to societal norms, societal programming, and this blew it up. Everything, it just completely short-circuited people, and this is the outcome. That's my opinion on it. Now, if people peacefully want to do this, investigate these things, follow this lifestyle protest, hey, whatever you want. Obviously, I don't condone any sort of physical altercations and all of that. I actually find it very interesting if you want to think about the psychology of why people grab onto certain ways of lives because the value system has been challenged, and I can see why that happens. I can definitely see why it happened because I look at the world a lot differently as well than what I used to look at it. Pre 2020, maybe 2019, look at the world a lot differently, a lot less cynical towards the government and how the world operates and all that sort of thing. Completely plugged in, went along with the program, believed everything I watched on the news, believed everything you read. You don't look into sort of agendas and things like that with information that's going out. So I can see why people can take it, to the nth degree and completely reject that old system that they believe is a lie and not real and a criminal and all this sort of stuff.
And they play games with the people, basically.
I care about you.
2 of their common law sheriffs were recently jailed for contempt of court. They're still rattled by the case. The sentencing judge described the group's ideology as extremely dangerous, adding that dangerous ideas breed dangerous people.
You've had 2 of your members wind up in jail.
Absolutely.
How did that feel?
Devastating. Absolutely devastating.
In the conversations I'm having, people keep raising their fears about being disarmed. It seems fueled by police revoking gun licenses from people with sovereign citizen beliefs. They fear the police want to disarm the people so they can control them.
Who's got all the guns? And it's no time in history as a population been disarmed has there not been genocide. And this is what they're doing here.
All right, let's move it along. We're getting towards the end here.
In 2021, Scott's ex took the boys to a protest in Canberra where the old Parliament House doors were set on fire.
It was sickening to see 2 young boys at the front doors of Old Parliament House. Kids shouldn't be present at any of that.
What kind of steps have you taken to protect your kids?
Lots. I've got friends that regularly patrol past our house day and night. Of any suspicious vehicles or persons around, I'm made aware pretty quickly. I've installed CCTV cameras. I've had to put trackers on my youngest son. So the 2 dots there show the boys still at school. I'll get a phone call from Tyler at the moment he gets on the bus or just before. Once I know they're on the bus, I'll track them all the way until I get here. It's generally about 15, 20 minutes.
I need your most senior on duty.
Scott's ex is Helen Delaney. A video of her being stopped by police in her car went viral in 2023.
You don't have any jurisdiction on this land. Oh, look out. You're under arrest. You're a freak. Yep. Man, I would love to just get you one-on-one.
Last year, Helen was arrested for breaching an AVO and stalking.
You will be personally, privately, and civilly liable. Do you understand that? I have a private leave schedule here, and you're trafficking me. And you'll understand that you're under arrest? Impersonating. No, I'm not under arrest. You're kidnapping me. All right. And I'm telling you, I'm not in your jurisdiction. Okay. You're foreign to me.
Yep. Well, interesting video. I'm going to leave it there. I don't really have much to say about that. If you guys know somebody who lives this lifestyle, is this far into it, put in the comments. If you are one of those people, put in the comments. I want to hear from you. As I said, I'm just talking about it. I don't know a heap about this sort of thing and what are the main motivations from it. And why is it mostly boomers or older Gen Xers? I find it interesting that that's the demographic who mostly falls into this sort of way of life. All right, thanks for watching all. See you in the next one.